What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to kind of take you through a rundown of my amplifier and my guitar and my overall rig. This has kind of been a long time coming, so we won't delay too much. There's the amp. It's a Line 6 Spider 4 2x12, two twin Celestion speakers inside. It's very cool. But before I take you through that, I will show you my guitar, and I kind of got the camera to where I can maneuver it a little. This is a Schecter Diamond Series Hellraiser C1, black cherry finish. And you can see on the neck, I don't know if you can see, there you go. It's got these cross inlays, so it's very cool. It's got two things that are cool about it. It's got active pickups, which means they actually run on a battery. So most guitars with active pickups, to get to the battery, you have to take the electronics panel off the back here to get to the battery. Not the case with this guitar. You just flip it over and our 9-volt is right inside there. Very convenient. I like it a lot. And it's also got these EMG humbuckers here. They call them the EMG Reds. They're actually kind of cool. Each one has their own volume knob and then an overall tone knob to control both of them. And each of these volume knobs can be pulled up. So when you do that, like let's say I just tap this one right here, I pull this up. This turns this from a humbucker to a single coil, like the old school jazzy kind of sound. You can do the same to both of them, or you can do it just to one. And you can get a lot of really awesome tonal variety out of these, which I really dig. And then of course you got the three-way switch here that controls them, which ones are active. I got them set to both active right now. Let me flip the camera down a little. I don't know how well we're going to be able to see this, but I will do my best for you. Down on the floor, we have the Shortboard Mark II, I believe it is. Yep. Foot controller to control the whole thing. I can call up all of my effects from it. It's got a volume pedal that can also be used as a wah, but I've currently got my wah pedal right here. This is a Morley Bad Horsey 2, and it is built for lazy people like me. It's switchless, basically. Instead of a steel button under the toe that you have to activate, when you put it on, when you put your foot on and go, it's ready to go. When you take your foot off, it deactivates. So it's very convenient for me, being the lazy POS that I tend to be. So with that, I will take you through some things that I have been kind of playing with. Apologize for the wobbly camera. But the main gist of this is you've got a few different channels on this amp to start off with. Let me bring up the volume here. Hopefully you can hear that okay. So, okay, let's start off with the clean channels. Right now we're on clean red, and it's just, as you can hear, very basic clean sound, very well, I guess not to be redundant, but it's clean. It's very crisp, very basic. You know, you can get some really cool sounds out of it. Even the harmonics kind of a little harder to get out of this channel because this is your most basic clean channel. And then we go to, not those yet, but we go to clean green, and you can see it's a little bit more powerful. It's got a little bit more grit to clean green. It's meant to, I think, kind of mimic the, I don't know, maybe the old amps of like the 60s. You can get some really cool jazz tones from this, so I like it a lot. I'm not really good at finger picking, but you know, if you play around with it, you can get some really cool stuff happening. I'm honing my technique with this every day, so that's kind of a big thing here. And then you've got twang. And each channel has a red and a green setting. This is twang red. Not much different than your basic clean channel. Of course, this is just all defaults I'm using too. You can actually tweak the drive, the bass, the mid, the treble, and get all sorts of crazy stuff out of it. Even just putting the treble knob. See, if you set the treble higher, the twang goes up. Turn the treble down, the twang goes down a little, and then obviously the bass. Your drive knob is what really affects this channel. Turn down the channel volume a little here. As I turn my drive down to almost the middle setting, it gets very dirty. And you can get some really insane kind of twangy, gritty, old school stuff. And then you've got twang green, which is really fuzzed out to start with. But as you turn the drive up, it gets a lot dirtier, and we're only going to get dirtier from here on out. So now we move on to Class A. And the tuning I'm using is actually drop D tuning. So instead of standard tuning would be from low to high E, A, D, G, B, E. Well, these are the last 5 strings are all the same. I just dropped the 6th string down to D, so you can do these one-finger chords. That's what Tool does a lot of. One of my favorite bands. But yeah, Class A. You kind of get that weird. I don't know if you play with some of these. Like, there's some effects knobs on here too, like gain. Gain will always get you a little bit more distortion. You know, so you can just play around. And just really have fun with it. We're kind of getting toward the deep purplish sounding stuff with this Class A. But if I'm not mistaken, this is Class A green here. And if I'm not mistaken, this one is supposed to mimic the old British amps. Like the glory years of the Stones and the Beatles and that kind of stuff. Gets a little dirtier. And then you've got blues. So obviously blues here. This particular blues red's obviously more aggressive than you might, you know. And my playing's a little sloppy because I haven't picked this thing up in a while. I'm just getting back on the wagon, but I still wanted to show you guys this stuff here. Let me go to blues green. Now it's starting to sound a little darker. You could almost do a little Chuck Berry-ish kind of sounding stuff with this, you know, like kind of the weird little upper chords that he used to do back in the day. Very much a grittier, twangier sound. And then we go to crunch. Crunch red. It's like an octave fuzz, basically. Not an octave fuzz, but it's a big muff sound. It's very thick. I'm going to probably play with this a little bit more. Now we're back on blues green. This is what it sounds like without the gain, so. Very simple. And then we go to crunch green. It's getting a little fuzzier now. And as we get to these distorted channels, you're going to notice that too. Just a if I actually put my pickup selector down to just this bridge pickup here, you can see kind of how it even overall changes the sound. Or if you just go to even the neck pickup, just this one up here, it's thicker. But I usually prefer to play with both pickups active. If I'm doing some Tool songs, I play with just the bridge, because that sounds more close to Adam Jones' tone than anything. But now we're going to go into the crazy stuff. We're going to go to high gain red. You're getting into the metal stuff now, or even the hard rock. And this particular one, and it can go forever. The sustain on this guitar is sick. Then you go to high gain green. And it's, for some reason, the green channels I found are a little fuzzier, a little thicker. You know, a lot of tweaking will probably have to be done to mitigate that if you don't want that sound on a green channel. So yeah, that's that. And then we go to metal red. Getting a little crazier. Metal green. I use the metal green for Tool stuff, and I've actually got a preset for that. I'll show you. Not too much different. It's easier to kind of get some weirder stuff out of that. And then you go to the Insane. Insane red is the straight up Shredders channel for sure. It's supposed to mimic a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, and it does a fairly good job. You can do some pretty crazy... cuts through nicely, I think. Even on the higher strings, if you want to go a little... You can do that, and the notes tend to come through. It gets a little dicey sometimes when you try to palm mute. It can get a little lost in translation if you don't tweak it. And then you've got Insane Green. Cuts a little more. So if you want to do more of those runs. Use my volume pedal from now on to kind of kill the guitar a little bit here. But yeah, so with that in mind, let me go through my user settings. My user A is set to just a nice, your typical clean. I wanted a clean setting. I still got to probably play with it a little bit more. But that's just what I wanted for your basic clean channel. And then I go to the next channel and it goes into my metal green, which I've been using for like Tool stuff. So, like, you know, if you want to play Anima from Tool. And it sounds pretty decent on here. And then my C bank on this pedal has my red metal setting. pretty much got it set to where I want it. So and you can do some really cool sounding harmonics with it. And they really pop. And then my D bank, you can have 4 banks, and this is my D bank. Well, four channels, I guess, per bank. There's a bank, and then within the bank is channel A, channel B, channel C, channel D. My D channel, I've got some delay set in there. I don't know if you can hear it. Hear that? And the reason I did this was weird. I was playing around and I wanted to try to find the tone that Adam Jones from Tool has in the intro to Lateralis, and I kind of found it. So here's how I do it. And then he just kicks it over and goes. I love the green metal for that, and of course I've just got my bridge pickup active because that gives me more of an Adam Jones sound, especially when you get a song like Schism, where you get that, you know, that palm muted kind of thing that he does. Then he drops it back down to this. Or no, he goes somewhere down here, damn it. Yeah, it starts off up here. And does that. And then it comes down to here. So that's the main chunk of Schism, and it sounds, all the Tool songs I found sound really good with this metal green, but I'm still playing with it. There's a huge learning curve with this amp. Huge. There's a lot to dig into. I've barely skimmed the surface. But you know, let's say I want to use my amp, or my wah. And it's kind of like reminiscent of Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, especially Bulls on Parade, you know, when he's... that kind of thing, so... But I'm constantly playing around with stuff and just trying to get back in the groove and just trying to get better. You know, I used to be pretty good. And, you know, I got this to try to help me get back on the wagon and start teaching myself stuff, and I'm getting there. It's all about building up, you know, the dexterity and the fingers, and you know, and a good exercise for that actually is the intro to Thunderstruck from AC/DC. Just a simple. Very simple stuff, but it's effective, I think. So I'm using little tricks like that to build it up, or even just little tap exercises where you just, you know, kind of Eddie Van Halen style. Eruption is what comes to mind. But that's kind of the gist of what I've been doing. I just got this back from the shop. My input jack died, and they had to solder it for me, but they did a great job. Brought her back, and I'll be playing a lot more now, hopefully, and just making some music, figuring this beast out. There's a lot to do, a lot to figure out, and a lot to work out. So, yeah. But I've been having fun. Just. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching and whatnot, and thanks for indulging my geeky musical self. So until next time, keep on keeping on, and hopefully some of you that play are getting back into it or never left it would be better. It's been hard to get back on the wagon, but I'm getting there, learning more. I have a lot of supportive people in my life, so very blessed, and hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Peace.